Esque. Doesn't that seem a little blurry to you guys? It looks a little blurry to me, to be honest with you. It actually looks pretty in focus. We'll leave that alone. Okay. Eyes. What's up, guys? You guys can see my big schnoz. It's kind of crazy that I can get my nose, actually. I think a couple of things about today. The audio should sound like really good. Like, actually, it might be a little bit loud. Hold on. It should be close to being perfect, though. Like, I just realized that it's compressor. Maybe bring it down. I think 10 was. I think 10. I'm just gonna do 10, and let's just leave it alone for the compressor. Okay. Good job. Chill. Somebody said hello again, and I'll say hello back. Yeah. Okay, so what are we gonna do today? First, what is this? Just dark clay, huh? Do I not even have a bag of anything? Yeah, I guess I don't have a bag of it. Is that really it? It's just this stuff? Yes, it is. I think there's somewhere there's got to be another little bag, but I can't seem to find it right now. It's okay. Some of this stuff is pretty stiff, so let's just see what we can do. You guys can kind of see what my hands are doing here, right? This stuff is really stiff, so. Alright. And we'll probably just grab this here. Or cut this in half. So you can see I got the two things. I streamlined the head camera, so that's why we're doing the head camera today. I don't know if that's what you guys are talking about. I see you in my dreams, bro. Really? That's kind of cool. I feel like very seldom do I have dreams that I have people that I know in it. But they're always kind of cool, and they're not really saying anything. Like, I don't know, do people talk in your dream? I feel like I hear them, but not their voice. Like, I just hear them, their person. This will be the topper. Alright. Camera A. Gimbal. Gimbal. Icon. Gimbal. Close in. I remember now we changed close in. Wheel. Wheel. I guess we could have this camera, the bottom one here, zoomed in a little bit more, I think. That's personally what I'm thinking here. Gimbal. Eyes. Zoom. Camera A. Alright. Alright. Hold on. Let's do something cool with this, actually. Bring this up. I'm gonna make a little lid, like a baby lid. I need my sponge. There it is. Okay. Well, before we keep cruising away here, I'm gonna do what I wanted to do earlier. Okay. And the thing is with this is I think it's a little bit far away, right? So let's just boost this up and drop this down. Right? Why not? I think that looks good. Okay. Now I just wish the top camera could be zoomed in more, right? Or do you think that's okay? Like seeing everything and seeing me narrate maybe would be good. This is kind of like a test, to be honest. This is a test stream, but it's also kind of you know, like not a test. Like it's both the real thing and not the real thing. Alright, so these again, these are like little trophies I'm making. Use this one. Actually, the needle tool could probably be pretty good here too. So that's my little guy. Set him over here. And we're gonna keep on cruising. The thing that should die first is the head camera. Everything else should be good. I think I could, like, let me just feel how hot this is getting. The head camera seems like it's warm. I don't know if it's going to keep on getting warmer, but I would say it probably has about, I don't know. Bottom. I think I should be getting pretty close here. A little bit wider. Then we can set them down in there. Pretty thin here. I was going a little bit too wide. It's wanting to buckle there. So we gotta finish this pot up. And these are gonna be like trophies, I think. At least that's the idea. I wish I had my my other knife. A wooden knife. It's like a legendary tool that I don't have with me right now. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's usually like the most useless tool, but this time it's not a useless tool. So imagine a world now where I have green pants, and then you could still see the background here. It's a world I want to live in. But I think it's just not possible here. Okay. These are going to be the trophies. Alright, let's keep making them. Okay. Just thinking about what we want to do next. I think this arrangement of the screen is my favorite. Like, I don't think there's a better... That's not true. There's probably is a better way, but I think for right now I'm really liking what I'm getting from what I got here. That's all we're doing is bring this out. And I'm just slowly pinching this down. And I'm slowly bringing this out. Gotta make sure a little bit of water. And slow it down a little bit. Okay, leave it like this. Don't. I usually cut this by now and I leave it alone, but I'm leaving it like this for now. Right? And if you guys, you'll come over with me. So when we set this down, leave it just like that. I don't even touch it from this point, right? And so what this is going to allow for us here, if you guys get a closer look, it's going to make it more uniform without actually having to like shape them at all. Like they're shaped together right now. And so it makes it a little bit easier to make things, right? So those are the handles. And now we're going to make a whole another trophy here. Okay. The day goes well. That's our little dude. Yum. Down right there. Let's make the base. And then the handle again, right? We could do the handle right now, too. Let's do another handle then. That's that thing that I just made. That's gonna be a lid, but I know what you mean. It does kind of look like a little sake cup. So again, we have another little ring here, and this again, right? This stuff is not good. You see how I set those down? So that's a good way to make sure they're even. Like the handles are going to be even. So I cut that in half. Does it make sense? It's kind of a... I'm telling you that it's a cool way to do that. I don't think you'll find many handles like that. They are not perfectly symmetrical, so that's also something to keep in mind. Like, but I think they're quick. They're easy. That's all the things I like. Okay. Yeah, you know, the rest of this can be the one man's lid is another man's sake cup. That's so funny. Maybe. It is kind of funny. Alright, we'll bring this down. I know you guys are having gonna be having a hard time seeing this stuff here, but from all that thrown off the hump, I got a lot of clay that's not actually attached to the wheel head here. So round off this top. Get ready for the first pull. I'm gonna lower that camera just because I think it's important. So, is it? I don't think it's actually that important. Let's just leave it alone. We all think we have things figured out. Then one day, boom, you think you have a cup, but it's actually the lid of a bowling trophy or something. Yeah, they are kind of like it's. They're actually for my work. My boss asked me to make. You know how like sometimes at places, they'll have like most time spent at the coffee pot. Um, hardest worker, visionary, and they give them like a baseball trophy. Instead of that, that's they're asking me to make like mini trophies, which I think is pretty cool. I wish I had a different. Some of my tools don't really work, to be honest. What I'm trying to do here. Oh, my nail kind of dug in there, but I'm not gonna worry about that. What's the rib made out of? Um, wood. But somebody recently told me that they're originally named or made out of bones, which makes sense why it's called a rib, right? But I don't know if that's really true. It's like one of those things where I think people just say something because it makes sense rather than actually it making sense. Where we want the calipers here. Perfect. Okay. Cool technique. Watch. So if you let water sit on the top of this, and you can drip water into this little hole here. So then the water will prevent it from sticking. You bring this back, right? So just a cool little neat trick there if you're trying to do some stuff. So now we'll get I'm gonna get our other lid. You know what, actually, I think we have some. We do have some squills, but none of those squills are good, so we'll just make new ones. I feel like that's also valid. Okay. A little bit. Ooh, very loose. What the heck? That's okay. Oh, well, this thing just came out a little bit, so it's actually not too bad. And then try to get some of the water behind on the bottom here. I was just thinking that concerning the origin of the term rib, this case, I may tend to agree with used to make ribs, possibly. Yeah, I would say so. Do you ever wonder who the 13 lurkers are and why they don't say hello? I would imagine, for some reason, I have a lot of international. I shouldn't say international. Like, I just have a lot of people who probably don't speak English, watching, right? So I think that is probably has to do with something of it, right? Like, there's a lot of people from India, I think, who follow me on the YouTube. At least that's what the demographics say. So I'd imagine that they might not say anything. Yeah. Who the 12 lurkers are? One left, yeah. Just saying hi, staying for a short smoke, leaving a like for the small bulbous pot. For some reason, when you said bulbous, I kept thinking of Bulbasaur, the Pokemon. Okay. And so the nice thing about this is, so watch. So when I take this off, right? I got a lot of the Bulbasaur is not brain rot, dude. We got our little guy here. So again, 2 handles, 2 pots. Let's make the bases. We need to make 2 bases. Huh. Should we make them? Off the hump again? I think we do. Just joking. Played Pokemon back in the day. Pokemon could be brain rot. Maybe it's like the act of like when I saw a word and like I saw something that's like related to like pop culture in some way. That makes it brain rot. I can see that. I usually watch on Apple TV. It's hard to chat on that platform. Whoa, that's pretty cool, actually. I got some hair in here, so don't mind that. I feel like you know, I've met people who are get really uncomfortable with hair, right? Like they don't like finding hair, like especially like wet hair. And so, if you don't like that, I would say you probably are gonna not like um, the whole ceramic process. Work on some stock for an upcoming sale. That's exciting. Wow. There actually is a lot of people, I guess, who just chill and they don't. I'm all good with that. You guys don't have to say anything. Sometimes I don't even say anything. Alright, let's bring this up. So, I'm feeling the clay ripping on the inside. Like, I feel it ripping and tearing. This clay is really stiff, right? So, we're going to bring this back down and up one more time. I would say for this stuff, like you'll kind of know if you're gonna get something good. Like right now, I can feel there's some weird stuff going on this top little bulb of clay here, right? And so we're just gonna go for it and just see how it goes, right? The hair hang up could get hard to get past, certainly. Get this. I'll slowly walk this up. Also, again, guys, let me know if the audio sounds better. It should sound like I used a compressor to make it so like the voice should be a little bit louder, but not like totally peak out. And then I have something at the bottom that makes it so like when I'm silent, you don't hear anything. Right? Kind of cool. Yeah, this is going to be the little pedestal or the foot. We're going to something cruising here. The little. Oh, missed it. Okay. We're actually going to manually twist this one down. Alright, here we go. Oh, it's not. It's not, I gotta do it the classic way. This is too firm. The very bottom. Flare this out. Okay. Then This way, you can see, guys, little hollow thing on the top there. And so this will become the bottom from one of the vessels. So that's just kind of a fun way to make them the foot for the minis, right? So again, we're going to do another foot. Your streams are such a vibe. I usually just have them in the background while I study or cook. Yeah. I used to take ceramics in high school too, so I like to watch and see what I used to do differently. I always wish that my high school had a ceramics department, you know? But it's okay. Alright. Yep, thanks for stopping in. Alright, I can hear my neighbor. Here's, I'm gonna go down and ask if I can join. That's pretty cool. I feel like I wish I was a little bit more interactive with my neighbors. They seem like nice people, but usually I'm just a little bit too busy. I had a guy in my neighborhood when I was a kid he's an older guy, and he probably lived there like a majority of his life or something, right? He had a garden, and I remember after his tomatoes were done, and he picked all of them or whatever, he would drop off tons and tons of tomatoes to my mom as a kid, which is kind of cool. I feel like I'd like to be one of those guys. Okay, so we're going out first, then we're in and up. And out, in, and up. All right, here we go. Okay, so again, I kind of want to do this manually. Because if you do it manually, you can kind of get a really nice twist where you want it to be, right? That's good, just like that, actually. You said you want to be one of those guys. Yeah, the part of it. Yeah, I mean, it's just I was just saying that there was this old guy when I was a kid in the neighborhood. He would always make these like tomatoes. All right, is this not? He'd always make these tomatoes, or always grow these tomatoes, and then at the end of the season of growing, he would just like go around the neighborhood and give like tomatoes to all the neighbors. I just thought it was like such a beautiful thing to do. I want to kind of do that when I get older. I was talking about neighbors, because Moritz said that he's gonna go talk to his neighbors or something. I was saying I wish I'd be more neighborly sometimes. All right, so with this last little bit, I'm gonna make the squiggles, and then we're gonna call it a stream. We have been streaming for 46 minutes, and guess what, guys? The head camera is still rocking. You know, that's pretty huge. I would like and prefer if we could get it to at least an hour and 30 of head camera action. if we could get to an hour 30 of head camera, like, I think my setup is just about perfect. I have a couple of hiccups that I ran into today, but they really shouldn't be that big of a deal. I think I need to make changes anyway. That's awesome. Your grandpa used to do that very thing, grow tomatoes and give them to everyone. He was the best man I ever known. I know, I freaking love grandpas. I'm very fortunate that both my grandpas are still alive, and they're both great guys. My my one grandpa, he's like goated at golf, right? And my other grandpa, he's 91, and he is like an animal. He still bikes and runs every day at 91. Or maybe he's just 90 actually, not 91. Yeah. But anyway, okay. The last thing we want to do, we're gonna make oh, I just got my hands all moved just so I could do this, and I couldn't even. One, a little bit more. That's good. Okay. This way you guys can kind of see some more of the action here. A bunch of these little gimbal eyes. You guys can see I have a bunch of these little, I'll call them squiggles. There. Man, that's awesome, buddy. I lost my grandpa. I was really close to in 2009 when I was 25. He was 87, but we were joined at the hip from the time I could talk. Wow. You know, I didn't grow up around either of my sides of the family. I was kind of that type of family where you're in a different location than your family on both sides, so I was never really around family that often when I was a kid. So it sounds like you were around your grandpa really often, even when you were younger. I always thought that, you know, I'm curious on how you feel about it, right? But when people in my family have passed, I think that they kind of still live through you. Obviously, your genetics and stuff, right? But the way you talk, the way you form a sentence, the way, your family has had some level of impact on that, on the way you kind of navigate a space. And so I always thought that being yourself is sort of a way of like honoring them, right? Because they quite literally made up little bits and parts of you, and you carry them with you. But I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit too. Here, hold on. Gimbal, eyes. It's a little bit too much deep talk. Alright. Go around over here. Round this off here. I'm going to split this. So watch. You're going to split this in half. A little bit of water in between. Get ready. And again, we got little squiggles that we're cruising on here. We're gonna make some flat ones now. You're fortunate to live only a few minutes away from a set of grandparents my whole life. I agree with you 100%. When you spend a lot of time with a family member. Totally. One of my students, I have a lot of older students, right? And he was telling me about his, I mean, he always cooks, right? He always cooks meals for the class, and they have like a big potluck at the end of the class sometimes, right? And he always cooks like the best things, like some like beef rib falling off the bone, like barbecue apple cider, jam, elderberry, currant, jelly, whatever, you know? Just anything that makes it sound like a grandma would cook it, right? That's what this guy makes. And he was telling me that he really spent a lot of time with his grandma when he was younger. And I thought that was kind of cool. And so he spent a lot of time eating her food. And then as he was getting in high school and stuff, he decided he wanted to learn how to make her apple pie. And he learned, but he said that he could never get the crust right. And so that's when he started to ask his grandma about the crust. Like, how do I make this crust right? And she said and told him, like, let me watch you and we'll do it from start to finish. And the thing that was his problem is that he was taking the dough for the crust and he was wedging it and kneading it too much, right? And so that's why his dough would always kind of be crumble. He was trying to get it perfectly the right shape rather than just getting it done without drawing more moisture out of the dough, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. You pick up so many things from them. My grandpa used to tell me stories about World War II all the time, really significant stories, and I can still tell them, but I'm the only person left who knows them. Yeah, I feel like you're like the arbiter of your own little personal history of your family, right? I think that's the one thing that I think is really awesome about being born in today's age is you can now, from here on out, you can record things, right? So you even, you might have not have gotten him telling the story, right? You can still tell the story and record yourself saying it so somebody else could enjoy the story that you enjoy. You learn to cook the same way by watching your mom and grandmother. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? Kind of like this one is like a scallop. So this is actually a cool way. Some people will make cylinders like this, right? So instead of like pulling this wall all the way out, right, and then up, watch, if I hook my finger, get a little bit of water underneath here, I can use my finger, drag it along the bottom, and you see how it automatically opens this up? To be like a little hooked entrance for me to just lift up afterwards, right? Does the same thing, but you kind of skip out on a move. If having to reset your hands. So another little efficiency thing. Oh. Being a little bit too greedy there. Okay, let's see what we're gonna get out of this one. I don't think I'll use this for anything, to be honest. It's just the last one. It's pretty big though, so maybe it can be like handles for something. I could cut it up. But that one, so what happened there is actually when I use this to clean up the bottom, I probably went a little bit too far. And that clay is also harder, right? So instead of wanting to buckle, it actually just rips off the bat itself, right? So that's what was going on there. We got some stuff cruised along here, guys. I'm gonna call it for today, just because you know, I think it's a good time to call it, to be honest. Let me check how hot this is. It's still warm, so I think that the top part will actually just run out of battery rather than overheat. So that's a huge benefit from the GoPro. I feel like I had an old GoPro a while ago, and that thing would just overheat like nonstop, and it was really annoying there. But okay, I'm gonna continue to rinse my hands here. Do I want to do anything else? I kind of want to get this one done, but we'll make that tomorrow's goal. Yeah, we'll make that tomorrow's goal. Some more plastic here too. Okay. Alright, thanks guys for watching. All the best. Strong mentality. Double peace for you. Thanks for chatting. Thanks to those who watch and decided to chat, even though you guys just like to watch. I do appreciate it. And see you guys in the next one. Ka-chow. Ka-chow. Oh, it worked. Ka-chow. So it kind of works, but not really. Oh, I know what it's doing.